Now, let me just start this video off just by saying one thing. I know these Tesla videos usually get a huge mix of love or hate, and I just want to say I'm just reviewing this from a product standpoint. I don't care about anything surrounding the company. My job isn't to review companies as a whole. It is to review the products that I have before me, which is this right here. If I were to review the company as a whole, I would be talking about Dieselgate in every single Volkswagen Group video, and you don't see me doing that. So, I'm not gonna talk about that stuff. I'm just gonna talk about this as a product and my experience with this product in the past 24 hours. Now, let's start off with this red because it is gorgeous. It is this beautiful, just luscious red paint coat. And as far as I'm concerned, paint quality seems pretty on par. It looks pretty good, especially here in this beautiful morning sunlight. It has a nice little bit of like richness to it. You can tell it's got a tiny bit of like gold flake in there just because it gives it that really beautiful, vibrant tone. Coming to the front of the Tesla Model X, obviously because it doesn't have a internal combustion engine, you don't have your traditional large grills sucking in tons of air. You have a little area here, a little area here to barely cool off the batteries, and that's really gonna be it. You also have an area here that's going to push air around the wheel wells. That's basically going to create an air curtain and just help guide the airflow as efficiently as possible. And that's why you don't see a ton of lines on this car. You've got one prominent line right here, one prominent line right there, and that's pretty much gonna be it. As far as drag coefficient, I believe the drag coefficient on here is like 0.25 is the official number, though I've also heard 0.24, so not 100% sure. I can't find any hard facts, but I know it's definitely one of the lowest in the SUV segment. Now, as far as the lights are concerned, you are going to have full LED headlights. So I love the daytime running light. It's this really thick LED strip, and it looks great. You can see it from far away. You can see it great at night. You do have great night presence in this vehicle. It looks stunning at night, and it's just got a really crisp, expensive look to it. All right, so next up, let's talk wheels. So believe it or not, these are 22-inch wheels. And if you see this thing in person, I mean, you just wouldn't guess that these are that big. I guess the wheel arches on here are designed in such a way that it really does make the wheels on here look small, because this truly is a very large vehicle. But these are wrapped in Pirelli Scorpion Zero tires, and this does have a slightly staggered setup. So you have two 65 35s in the front, and you're gonna have two 85 35s in the rear, which makes sense because this is the performance model, and we'll get to the performance specs in just a little bit. You can always spot it with the red brake calipers right back here. Now, of course, anyone can go and paint their brake calipers red, so you just gotta trust that you're dealing with the performance or you're not dealing with the performance. Now, coming over here off to the side, you are going to have an integrated blinker right here with your camera. It's also gonna have your Tesla logo right on top of there as well. As you come down, you've got your door handles. I'll show you guys how that works in just a moment, but I do like the way it looks. So from far away, it really adds to the silhouette of the vehicle, just because you don't have anything crazy going on. It just looks fantastic, and it gives it a nice, clean, even look. Now, as you come to the back quarter panel of the Model X, this is an interesting angle because you either hate this angle or you love this angle. Personally, I'm indifferent towards it. It's definitely not my favorite angle. I like it from the profile and from the front. Back here, it gives it this real like Hunchback of Notre Dame sort of look. But once again, that's all due to aerodynamics. So there's no denying the fact that aerodynamically, this is functional in the way that it looks. You also have a spoiler here. Now, one thing is that this no longer has the automated spoiler. So let me brighten it up just a little bit. Now this spoiler is going to be fixed. So you guys can see that right there. It's not going to move, go up and down, but your third brake light is going to be integrated into that spoiler right there. Of course, LED lights in the back. Even your blinker is going to be LED. Those look great at night as well, and they're really simplistic. I really wish Tesla would do something a little bit more unique with the rear tail lights, because they seem just very basic in my personal opinion. Then as you come over here, you're gonna have your dual motor badge right over here on the right side, and you've got a little bit of a diffuser coming down here. Of course, no exhaust because we all know that it's full electric. All right guys, so here's your key for your Tesla Model X. So obviously looks just like the silhouette of the vehicle, which is pretty nice. You guys can see that right there. Now, here's the cool part about this. So for example, if I hit the top twice, that's gonna open my driver door. If I hit it one more time, that's gonna open the passenger door, if you guys can see that over there. Double tap this window, that's gonna open the Falcon doors. And then if I hit it one more time to lock, that will close everything up. Now, one other thing that's cool about the key, so if I hit this, hold it, and then I hold the back part of the vehicle. You can hold the front or the back, doesn't really matter. You can move the car forwards and backwards, which is really cool. So yeah, pretty neat key. I do miss the fact that this actually has a key fob, whereas like the Model 3 and stuff doesn't have a key fob. All right, so once you've done all the fun stuff with the key, to get in is very easy. You just simply walk up to the car, and as you get closer, the door should actually pop open just like that. I didn't have to do a single thing, so that is pretty nice. All right, so once we are inside the Model X, there are a few different interior options. This one is like this tan with the wood. Personally, I prefer the white leather seats with the carbon fiber. I think that's the way I would go, or even black seats with carbon fiber. Either way, I wouldn't do the wood, but it looks pretty decent either way. So you're going to have, oh, by the way, it is faux leather, so Tesla does not use real leather seating surfaces. I think aside from the steering wheel on this generation, that's the only thing that's going to be leather. So either way, looking here on the armrest, it is nicely padded, and it's got a good amount of give to it. As you guys can see, it's pretty soft right there. It's got some stitching right there. Here's that wood. You guys can clearly see that right there. It looks pretty decent. I'm just not a huge fan of wood, but if you like it, then there you go. You have your door handle, of course, integrated right over here. You're gonna have your window and mirror controls right over here. You guys can see that. A little bit of storage space down here. You're gonna have this interesting like X pattern right there for your Model X. Floor mats would go here, but you have aluminum pedals since this is the performance model. And sorry about the hardcore shadows, but here is your seats. So once again, not actual leather, but they are some of the most comfortable seats I believe I've ever sat in. They've got a decent amount of thigh bolstering. Your seat adjustments are going to be right down here. Once again, sorry about the shadows. And you actually have a really good amount of side bolstering right here, so that looks pretty good. But let's go ahead and hop in and we'll check out the rest of the vehicle. All right, so shutting the door on the Model X is very easy. All you gotta do is push the brake here, and that will close the door. Simple. Here's another angle of me doing it because I thought that was one of the coolest things ever. And opening the door is the same thing basically. So you're going to pull this handle. The door's gonna open right up for you. Pretty nice. But the door shut is pretty solid, and as soon as the door shuts, the vehicle turns on. Okay, so starting with the steering wheel on the Model X, it's very simple, 3-spoke design. It's not gonna have any aluminum pieces. This is actually just gonna be plastic right here. The leather quality is pretty nice, and it's got a really thick wheel. It's really nice. It feels really good. Over here on the right side, you're gonna have voice commands. You're gonna have these buttons here to control this screen. I'll show you that in just a second. And over here to the left are all of your media. So previous, next, volume. Now over here, that's gonna be your stock to put it into like park, reverse, neutral, drive. So very simple. And over here you have 3 stocks. So this one here in the middle is going to be to adjust the steering wheel. This one is going to be for your blinkers and your wipers, and of course your high beams. And then this one down here is going to be for your cruise control and or autopilot. Now coming up, looking at this screen right here, so let me tone this down just a bit. Screen's very simple. So using the buttons to the right, like I showed you guys, I can see like my average, like I think it's watt hours per mile. I hope I'm saying that right, but basically that's your energy consumption right there. Now over to the left, I do have it set to music. And then over here, if I push one of the buttons, I can adjust fan speed just by using that dial. If I tap it, it'll put it on auto. If I hit the back button, I can change that to display brightness, recent calls, contacts, temperature. I can adjust whatever I want. Press and hold, and you can pull up your energy charts. You can pull up your clock, music, trip monitor, car status, different things like that. So it's pretty nice. I actually do like this setup over, let's say, the Model 3. Don't mind the Model 3 setup, but this is just a little bit more convenient, I feel like, but to each their own. Now, coming back out here, you're going to have some pretty nice wood accents right here, which look pretty good. You can have some leather right here. This entire headliner is going to be lined in Alcantara, so hopefully you can see that right there. You can have a speaker right here. Now you do have this gigantic windshield, which is absolutely massive. You guys can get a better look of it right here. Another interesting thing is the mirrors, the vanity mirrors. So the vanity mirrors go across just like that. They're all magnet based, and hopefully it'll focus right there. Then you're going to fold that down. Then below that you have your actual mirror. Very interesting. Tesla's over here reinventing the sun visor. Now there is one negative to having this giant setup. So let's say, for example, like a bird poops right here. You can use your wipers, which, let me turn the wipers on. There we go. So the wipers go to about right here. So if a bird poops right here or here and you see it, you have to take it to a car wash. It's just not gonna reach. And that is the only annoying thing about this. Other than that, I love the way it looks. I think it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen, but there are little quirks to having special, unique features like that. You also have this giant speaker, which is going to be right back here for Tesla's sound system, which is a fantastic sound system. So I've heard a lot of good things about it, and they're all pretty much true because it sounds incredible. Everything else is controlled through this screen right here. So 90% of what you're going to use for the car is controlled through here. You do have your hazards over here to the left, if you guys can see that right there. And you're going to have your release for your glove compartment right there. So moving back here in the middle, let's go through this a little bit. So you do have audio streaming on here. So I believe it's like Spotify or something like that. All your radio streaming services. If I hit this little car, it's going to bring up everything about the vehicle. So I can open the doors, open the passenger door, front trunk, rear trunk, fold in the mirrors, fog lights, display brightness, all that good stuff. Seats, if I want to go through, I can actually adjust the passenger seats right here. I can adjust my seats right there. Below that you have suspension. So you're going to have very high, high, standard, low, very low. So very low is what I have it set to lowering to on the highway. That way I have the lowest drag coefficient, therefore increasing your range, or not really increasing it, but helping you to achieve your maximum range. Okay, one thing I did not mention in this entire review, and I did not realize it until I was editing, was the Raven suspension on this Model X Performance. So this is the brand new Raven suspension that has been codenamed, and it's basically adaptive suspension that is new for this vehicle, and you can switch between two different modes. You guys can see that here on the screen at the very bottom. When I was just talking about the ride height, right below that you can also see the normal suspension setup and the sportier suspension setup. Now you can switch between those two. I did switch between them both. I just don't know why